Welcome to Whachacha's Tabletop World, the channel devoted to the love of board gaming. My name is Sweetness Whachacha, and today we're looking at speed colors. Speed colors is a family game, which features a competitive mode and a cooperative mode, as well as a variant. The game is very easy to set up. It comes with 6 colored markers, which you'll place in the box top, and then you'll place the stack of cards it comes with just around the outside of the box. Each player will take a scoring card here, and you're ready to play. Let's take a closer look at the cards. So the front of the card is going to have a black and white outline of the drawing here, as well as a difficulty rating. You might be tempted to think that this is points, but the difficulty rating doesn't translate into more points or anything. It's just a number to tell you how difficult that's going to be. If you're playing in a mixed group, you can, maybe the adults can take the 3s, younger children can take the 1s like this. You can also, if you want a harder game, you can remove all the 1s. If you want an easier game, you can remove all the 3s, and so on. So so that's the back side of the card, or the front side, however you want to look at it. The other side has the same drawing. This time, though, it's all colored in all the 6 colors here. All of the cards use all 6 colors. The game itself is very simple. It's played over 4 rounds. You're going to end up coloring in 4 different cards as quickly and as accurately as you can. So the round will start. Each player will take a card from around here. It doesn't really matter. You have a complete free choice. As I say, you could pick one that's difficult or not, or one that appeals to you in some specific way. Everybody will take a card. Once all the players have a card and everyone's ready, you'll say go, or 3, 2, 1, go, whatever you want to do. And then at only that point, you're going to flip over the card. Now, each player is going to be playing on their own. There is no real interaction here. You're going to look at the colors on this card. So you're going to look at the layouts of the card. You might use a mnemonic device to remember, like, okay, I'll say BGYP, BGYP. So I remember the order. At any time, now you can do this as quickly or take as much time as you want, you would flip this over. So once you flip over the card, you can no longer flip it back to this side to remember, what those colors are. Once you flip it over, then you can reach into the box, and provided no one else has taken a marker that maybe you were after, you'll take a marker. So I will take the blue marker. You take the cap off and then color as quickly as you can while staying in the line. Now the lines themselves the black lines are pretty thick, so it's hard to go outside the lines. So it's easy to stay within lines. Is a better way to say it, maybe. Then when you're done coloring, you have to completely color the item in. You'll place the cap back on, put it back in the box, and then you're able to take another color. So I think G was the next one we took here. So you'll just color in this next space. Now at any point when a player is completed and they place their marker back, they can say done. At that point, if you've started, you've got a marker here, every player is allowed to finish whatever they're coloring in. So you can take as much time as you need. There's no rush. And so every player will stop. Let's say I did not have this orange marker in my hand and the stop is called. Well, this is my completed drawing. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to see each player is going to go ahead and score their card. So you're going to get 2 points for a right color in the right location. So I've got blue, green, and yellow, blue, green, and yellow. And then I've mixed up these 2 colors, okay? So these 2 are wrong, and that's unfilled. So this is going to get me 0 points. These 3 are going to get me 2 points each, 2, 4, 6 points. This is completely colored in, but it's the wrong color, so that's going to get me 1 point. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 7. And this one would give me that, but you see here, if you look, you see I've left a white spot. I haven't completely colored that in. So if you have left any white in that area, then you're not going to get any points for it at all. So even if you got a wrong color, it behooves you to fill it in completely. So after the round ends, you'll score your card. As I said, I got 7 points. So you'll color in up to 7 points here. Then you'll start your round again. Each player will pick a card. You'll say go. You'll flip over the card. Try to memorize the colors. When you're ready, you'll flip it back and color everything in. You'll repeat this 4 times. At the end of the 4th round, whoever has the most points will win the game. There are also 2 other alternate modes. There is one where you can switch the caps. One of the players will be switching the caps as they play, thus making it a little harder and taking you more time to grab the marker that you need. There's also, you can make it more difficult for certain players by having them score a little differently. They have to score on this alternate scoring pad, which is traffic lights and stop signs. Just makes it a little more difficult for one player. So if you have like a mixed group, which this game seems to be quite well at doing. And now let's take a quick look at the cooperative variant of this game. In this version, you're going to deal out 4 cards, and they're all going to be colored side face up, and you're going to use the stoplight scoring track here. You're going to take the markers and you're going to split them evenly among the players. So let's say we've got 2 players, so we just randomly split the colors up between 2 players. Now, you're going to set a timer for 2 minutes, and then you're going to go. And over the course of this game, over the course of the 2 minutes, which goes by very, very quickly, you're going to decide. You're going to say, hey, look, I think we should do these 2 first. And then, and the other players may say, okay. And so then you'll kind of memorize this, and you can take this whenever you want to. Maybe you'll say, are you ready? Yeah, I know what I have to do for this one. They'll take it, and then the second you flip it over, you can no longer flip it back. Same thing, but you can only color with your colors. As soon as you're done, you'll throw it back to the middle. That player will do the same, although they'll be colored somewhat, and then you'll kind of repeat that for the next 2. So there's a bit of a, there's an incentive maybe to just color as many things as possible, but because the way the scoring's set up, it's not as you can't do as well as you can in the normal version. In this way, if you have a wrong color, you'll fill in one of these stoplights, so you'll need 3 of those, so 3 wrong colored, fully colored in areas in order to get a single point. And then, of course, you're scored based on how well you did. So if you look at this chart, it will show you the number of players, the markers per player, the amount of cards that get dealt out, and then how to get a perfect score. And that's the cooperative variant. So what are my thoughts? Well, let's start with the components. Firstly, the art is fine. It's very serviceable. I like it, and it works, very well for this style of a game. There are plenty of cards. They are not flimsy. They can hold up to kind of grabbing them and flipping them over, and they erase very nicely. The art itself, the thick black lines are there, which is nice because you have to be careful not to go outside the lines, but not like so meticulously careful that it's frustrating or tedious. So I like that. The markers are the kind of markers you get in any kind of game, like any kind of party game that you might expect to find in, like say anything or something like that. So yeah, and it's a very inexpensive game. So the components are what you would expect. They're good. Now, for party games, I always like to say, is it simple to play? Yes, this game is very simple to play. It's quick to teach, and it doesn't take too long. And that's kind of like my barometer, to measure party-ish games. This is definitely geared more for kids. I don't, it's, and it's really set up well to do that because, those cards have like a 3, 2, 1, so you can kind of, give the adults the more difficult ones and the children the easier ones. There's no direct conflict in it, so it kind of goes well for like families or nicer kind of gatherings where you don't want people to get too aggressive or too competitive with each other. I do really like that it uses coloring instead of like word games. I mentioned in a recent thing about party games that most of them tend to be word-based, like, like descriptions of words or trying to get people to guess words. And so I like to see a little bit of variety there, and that's inherent in this game. It is really relaxing to color. I don't know if you've colored since you were a kid, but it's wonderful. It's really relaxing and really nice to color. I really like it. There's a whole new thing of like, these adult coloring books and things. They're a little crazy. I kind of just like normal coloring. I don't do it very often, but it is kind of a nice relaxing thing to do when you do it. And I often think about like different things like I'm like, someone recently was like, puzzles, I should do some more puzzles. I wonder if there's been puzzle advancement, like, advancements in the puzzle industry like there have been in the last 20 years in board gaming development. Well, there's nothing really, there's no comparison there. So, but I like the idea that it's like something like taking something that you know how to do, coloring, and that you've enjoyed in your life, and you're doing it in a different way. Now, of course, it isn't that relaxing because you're trying to go quickly, but it still has a bit of that, that satisfaction and that nice bit of nostalgia when you used to color things in as a kid. Now, as I say, it is really kind of seems more skewed for mixed crowds or for kids because there isn't a lot to the game, right? I mean, there's not a lot of strategy. You're just trying to color well. There's several things that sort of, accentuate those things because, like you would think that the more difficult ones would give you more points. And there's a really weird thing of, like, the gamer in me is like, when you say done and you're the first to be done, you think like, oh, well, of course you would get like an extra point or something to be like, congratulations, you finished first. It incentivizes you to move faster, but all the other players can just finish whatever square they're on. and they are fine too, and you don't get any extra points. So there's a few things like that that I think you might more often see in a gamer's game. But so overall, I think that the base game is very approachable. There's a it's an enjoyable activity that kids are doing anyway, and sort of gamifying that and bringing a little more structure in. So I really think, and it's really great for that for that kind of wheelhouse. Co-op variant is another part of it, and that's much more of a gamery game type thing. I'm not quite sure how much you could really strategize it, but it's quite difficult actually. I mean, you're just getting a score, so it's not like a win or lose type of thing, but you'll take a few minutes, be like, okay, I'm going to do this one. You want to do this one? Okay, let me do. What? We're out of time. You're done. You have no time. 2 minutes goes by so fast, and you really can get like one and maybe another half of one done if you're trying to do it really well. But if you try to just go and color all the colors just to get something on the board to get a point, well, those are only worth like the ones that you don't get the correct colors, only worth a third of a point each. So it's a little kind of neat. I mean, when you play it, it's got that really satisfying thing that I get sometimes where I'm like, let's go again, because games like that I really love when, it's very quick to play, like, yeah, let's just try it again, because I wanted to get that top score. I think once you did the perfect score, you had played 3 or 4 of them or whatever, you probably never want to do it again, but it's kind of a nice little thing to have in there, and it's completely extra, like, you could see, like, you play with some kids and stuff, maybe they lose a little interest, they get a little scattered or whatever, and you're sitting there with the adults, they're like, let's try this co-op one real fast. And so I think, for the price point, for the simplicity of the game, it's kind of a nice thing to have, and especially for the mixed crowds that you might have. Like, it's not, look, this game isn't going to blow you away, but it's a nice little option to have in my party bag. I always like to keep some different party, games together for different groups, right? For non-gamers, for gamers, whatever. So it kind of rounds that out quite nicely, I think. So hopefully this helped you to decide whether this game is for you or not. But for now, I gotta roll.